I think it's best to kick off with the plenary. Some meetings have already taken place. And I would just like to emphasize that it's our great honor to host you all here virtually, but we would say at the Jožef Stefan Institute. And without further ado, I would like to invite Professor Sadamichi Maekawa to say a few words of introduction. Please.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I share the screen?
You're welcome.
Can I share the screen? Okay, thank you very much. Good morning and good evening. I'm Sadamichi Maekawa of RIKEN Center for Emergent Matter Science, the so-called SEMS. I'd like to thank the organizers for arranging this meeting. Since I have been enjoying the collaboration with members of Jožef Stefan Institute, on behalf of RIKEN, I'd like to say a few words. This is a photo taken at the conference in Sendai in 2007. Professor Peter Predilchek of Jožef Stefan Institute and I are working together for many years. This is another photo taken at the same conference. Jens Boncha of Jožef Stefan Institute looking at some exhibition together with Peter. So I think both of them are online today. I also opportunities to visit Lake Bled. This was one of the most beautiful sceneries which I ever seen. And once they took me to this lake, and I really enjoyed the sceneries. I hope, this is the Lake Bled, and there's a beautiful island. So I hope in this meeting, our friendship will be extended to both institutes. So finally, let me introduce the SEMS briefly. The director of the SEMS is Professor Tokura. The location is 15 minutes from the center of Tokyo by train, so it's very convenient. The SEMS has 3 divisions and 1 research program, namely Strong Correlation Physics Division, Supramolecular Chemistry Division, Quantum Information Electronics Division, and Cross-Divisional Materials Research programs. But since April this year, Quantum Information Electronics Division has been extended and become the new center for quantum computing. And SEMS has many international collaborations. So I hope Jožef Stefan Institute will join us in this list. So I hope, I'm very much looking forward to the very fruitful discussion in this meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sadamichi Maekawa. Warm welcome from my side, and would like to also address dear colleagues from RIKEN and the Jožef Stefan Institute. It is my great honor and pleasure to welcome you to today's virtual event. Scientists always strive to nurture existing and establish new collaborations with excellent research groups worldwide. And I'm convinced that research in collaboration is an even stronger incentive to foster important scientific discoveries and innovations for the benefit of society. At the Jožef Stefan Institute, we have a long history of collaboration with Japanese colleagues. For example, as Professor Maekawa knows very well, back in 2000, we signed an agreement on scientific exchange and research cooperation with the Tohoku University. Currently, we run 3 bilateral research projects with Japanese colleagues in the field of physics. but of course we wish to further increase this number. I also stress that there is a long history of close links with RIKEN. Professor Akito Arima was a member of the International Advisory Board of Jožef Stefan Institute for many years, and we are much indebted to his advices that made us much better. Also, I'm aware of lively exchange, scientific exchange between RIKEN and our institute. We have an excellent example in our condensed matter physics department, as Dr. Jampani, at that time working at RIKEN, first frequently visited us and then later joined our soft matter physics laboratory. But I'm sure there can be found many other similar examples of scientific exchange across the different departments at our institute. And finally, Dr. Toshiyasu Ichioka, director of the RIKEN Europe office, has visited us, our institute, in October 2021. As an outcome of his visit and further established collaboration, this event and one-to-one meetings are taking place today. Most of us already know each other, and some you will meet for the first time. But I'm convinced that this is a place to exchange ideas and initiate concrete proposals for future cooperation. Today's meeting could be an incentive for further discussions and joint work in the future. And finally, just a little bit more personal note, the photo which you can see of a cherry blossom behind me was taken actually on my garden a couple of years ago. And in Slovenian language, we have a saying that the collaboration is blossoming when it leads to good results. I had a particular successful collaboration with my Japanese colleagues at that time, and I'm sure we can do so also in the future. I wish you all a very successful event.
Thank you, Professor Erčon. Thank you, Denis. With that, I would like to ask Dr. Toshiyasu Ichioka to say a few words, please.
Thank you very much. I just need to ask Professor Maekawa to remove the screen. Yeah,
okay,
very good.
Sorry.
No problem. And let me share my screen now. Just a moment. Yeah. And show. So, can you see the slide?
Yes.
Yes. So, okay. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Bostian Jala, director of the Jožef Stefan Institute, for his hospitality when I visited the institute last October, and also Spela and Marietta, who have been in contact with me in preparation of this meeting. And let me briefly introduce RIKEN. But before starting that, I just wanted to comment on the functions of national institute like ours and international cooperation, especially with the Jožef Stefan Institute this time. Well, you know, national institutes like ours, and especially comprehensive ones, are key to the societal challenges, but there aren't many, you know, especially RIKEN is only one in Japan, JSI is the only one in Slovenia. So, you know, when we like to compare or do some kind of benchmarking with others, naturally we need to go global. And well, okay, Japan is far away from Europe. Slovenia is not the largest country in the world, but excellence exists everywhere. And especially, you know, Jožef Stefan Institute is the largest and the only comprehensive research institute in Slovenia. And there is but you know, so far we saw a rich history of our collaboration, but I must admit that at least currently, the level of cooperation is quite limited. And when it comes to the fundamental research that both of us are pursuing, circulation of talents, ideas, and knowledge are essential for the research. And also, you know, sometimes strategic institutional cooperation is helpful to implement the research results. And we are all responsible for tackling global challenges together, and that requires global approach. So I do believe that enhanced collaboration between JSI and RIKEN would be beneficial for both of our countries and to the world. Well, now coming to RIKEN. So RIKEN is, as I mentioned, is the only comprehensive, one of two comprehensive research institutes, the only one focusing on frontier and fundamental research in Japan. We currently have a bit more than 3,500 members of staff, of which 740 are non-Japanese, and we have some 150 coming from Europe. Unfortunately, due to COVID, this number has declined, but still, as a Japanese institute, we are quite international. And we have, 5 overseas bases, including my office in Brussels, and 10 sites across Japan, and 13 centers and so on, which I'm going to present now. Well, this is what I mentioned about the international aspects of our institute. So I said 750, it was 740 people coming from 60 countries around the world. And as we can see, of course, the cooperation or exchange with Asian countries is the majority, but the next one is with Europe. So historically and currently, we have very strong link to European countries. And the RIKEN is the institute without any thematic barrier. We can tackle whatever topics we want, as long as it doesn't make any security or ethical concerns. And since April last year, we can also tackle social sciences and humanities. So we became even more comprehensive. This is a bit difficult to see probably, but these two graphs show the evolution of a research output. And the first one, the dark blue one, compares our research output in 2020 with 2010. This shows that fields like physics or biochemistry are no more increasing, but this does not mean that we are not we are no more strong. The pink one is the share of RIKEN compared to Japanese total. So we are still accounting for like 5% of research output in terms of publication in Japan, and the same for biochemistry. And chemistry itself is still growing, and also we see that new fields like computer sciences, earth planetary sciences, environmental sciences are now growing rapidly. What I'd like to highlight here is actually the share of Japan, especially multidisciplinary part. So we are ready, as we don't have any thematic barriers, we can really tackle interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary sciences, and that is reflected in this graph. Oops, sorry. And well, we do support curiosity-driven, based on the ideas of each PIs, but we also have 10 strategic research centers. And today we have 2 centers representing here. Sorry, I just wanted to skip. Oops. One is the Center for Emergent Matter Science that was already presented by Professor Maekawa. And the center is working on discoveries of new principles and materials towards a forthcoming energy revolution. We have another center for advanced intelligence project called AIP, where we are already, merging mathematicians and computer scientists, machine learning professionals in this center right next to the Tokyo station. But those will be presented by researchers later. In addition to that, one of the specialities of RIKEN is that we do develop and operate research infrastructures. We host the supercomputers. Currently, the world's fastest supercomputer Fugaku is hosted by us. We have synchrotron radiation source, free electron lasers, and we have Bioresource Research Center where we are providing well-controlled samples like genome, plant, mice, and so on. And naturally, we collaborate with all over the world, and we have 3 representative offices, one in Singapore, another one in Beijing, and the last addition was Brussels. And this was the office established in 2018. And I'm working as the first director for this office and trying to raise our visibility in Europe and around through collaborative research and innovation. So that's a very brief introduction of RIKEN to you. And now it's, I think Spela who will present JSI. Thank you.
Thank you, Ichi. Thank you for the screen. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Oh yeah, now.
Fine. So again, it is my great honor to welcome you all, in particular the esteemed speakers from the RIKEN Institute in Japan, with deepest thanks and with pleasure also to Ichi. As I said, my name is Spela Stris. I belong to the Department of Center for Technology Transfer and Innovation of Jožef Stefan Institute. I'll just present briefly Jožef Stefan Institute and our researchers who are participating today in the meeting. Jožef Stefan Institute is named after the distinguished 19th century Slovenian physicist. He was the creator of the Stefan-Boltzmann's law on blackbody radiation. Actually, he was the only Slovenian scientist that the physical law was named after. And we were created in 1949. Soon we evolved from a nuclear institute to an interdisciplinary research institution with the mission to create, spread, and valorize knowledge from natural and life sciences and engineering to the benefit of society. We operate from 2 locations. One is at the center of Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia, and the second is at the city's outskirts. The number of employees at Jožef Stefan Institute is growing practically ever since the institute's creation, currently at 1,150 excellent scientists and professional support staff is working at JSI. There are more than 400 projects running at this time at the Institute, and our revenue in 2020 was 56 million euros, and we reached a turnover of over 62 million euros in 2021. Some numbers show the scientific excellence as well. You can see that 1,212 doctoral theses were completed at JSI until 2019, and we have a database of 260 patents that were produced in the past 20 years only. And the Web of Science shows of 2019, it shows over 40,000 citations from our researchers. A few words on our research departments. As you can see, we are actually an institute that is based at the heart of Europe. Our departments are organized in 28 different units, and we cover electronics and information technologies, physics and nuclear technology, and chemistry, biochemistry, and new material and environmental sciences. We are divided in different units along the excellent basic research topics that spread all over key enabling technologies areas. There are 9 units in physics and nuclear technology, 8 in electronics and information technologies, and 11 in chemistry, biochem, and new materials and environmental sciences. Here you can see the list of the physics and nuclear technology departments, and we have today the honor of hosting representatives from the Department of Theoretical Physics, from the Complex Matter Department, and colleagues from the Department of Solid State Physics. So I would like to welcome in particular the heads of the departments, Professor Dr. Denis Arcion. I would also like, and Professor Dr. Dragan Mihailovic has also joined us from the Complex Matter Department. I would like in particular also to greet Professor Prelauschek. Thank you for joining us. Other colleagues from the 3 departments that participate today, Denis Goles, Rok Žitko, Miha Ravnik. We hope that you are going to have fruitful meetings with your counterparts from the Japanese side. Another important field of excellent research work at Jožef Stefan Institute is electronics and information technologies. And today we proudly present our esteemed colleagues, the head of the Department of Computer Systems, Professor Dr. Gregor Papa, and the head of the Department of Knowledge Technologies, Professor Dr. Sasha Jarski, and some other representatives from these departments. The third important field of excellence in research of Jožef Stefan Institute is also in chemistry, biochem, new materials, and environmental sciences. As the Jožef Stefan Institute have also obtained interest from the researchers in this field to meet the RIKEN researchers time permitting, and based on the evaluation of the success of this present workshop, we'll then later together with ICI look into possibilities of organizing a second workshop on these thematics. Let me finish with a few information on how to kick off further collaboration in practice. Some words also on the possibilities on Japan-EU collaboration. So from the side of the Horizon Europe, we know that Japan is a key strategic partner for Europe, and we're looking forward to supporting you in applications for the second pillar of Horizon Europe, in particular in Cluster 4, Digital Industry and Space. But also the Slovenian Research Agency is initiating now in the beginning of June. There will be a call published for bilateral projects between Slovenian and Japanese institutions. And we'll make sure that all information available will be given to the interested researchers at both sides in due time. So the bilateral collaboration scheme of the Slovenian National Research Agency is just kicking off in the beginning of June. Lastly, just again, the list of the esteemed colleagues that are participating in today's event. And with that, I would like to thank you very much for being with us today. And I'll leave my colleague Marieta to say a few words on the housekeeping issues to allow for smooth organization. Marieta?
Yes, thank you. Now, after the plenary session, researchers are invited to enter the breakout Zoom rooms according to the schedule. Each meeting lasts 15 or more minutes, as specified in the schedule. It is assumed that Jožef Stefan Institute and RIKEN researchers firstly spend a few minutes with a short presentation, with or without slides, and then during the next 10 minutes, the researchers should be discussing possible cooperation. Researchers also shouldn't forget to exchange contact data emails. You can use the chat box, but afterwards we will also send emails to all the participants. When the first meeting ends, RIKEN researchers stay in the same breakout room to wait for another colleague from Jožef Stefan Institute. All researchers come back to the main plenary room at 13 according to the European time and at 20 according to the Japan time for the closing. In each breakout room, there will be representative of our Center for Technology Transfer or from the RIKEN Europe office to help you with the to take care of timing, technical issues, and moderation. Additionally, we have created the 5th room for those that don't have the scheduled meetings and would like to discuss any additional topics. So thank you, and let's the discussion begin. Welcome to the breakout rooms. You can see them on the bottom of the screen. So according to the schedule that you saw, just please go into room 1, 2, 3, 4. If you don't have a meeting now, you can go to room number 5.